Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I want to go through and choose my January TBR from my TBR cart. As you can see, she is actually overflowing. This is a little bit overwhelming for me right now, which is why one of my goals for 2026 is to really cut down this physical TBR, which will also allow me to go out and buy more books, which is just like my favorite thing in the world. So I want to use my TBR jar and I want the prompts to help me pick my January TBR. I am already in the middle of a few different books, so I will go through those with you first. Physically, I am reading Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. If you watched my last video, you know that I have been reading this for several months, since October. And this one is, of course, a priority to finish. And it's not that I'm not liking it, I just haven't had that much time to read it. And I am a slow reader, so it's just not happened yet. But it will. I am determined. On my Kindle, I have started reading The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, Volume 1. This is like a series of novellas that follows this girl's adventures. I really don't know much about it. I just saw some people reading it and I heard good things. So I started it. It really doesn't take much for me to be influenced. And for my audiobook, I have been listening to Quicksilver by Kelly Hart because I got FOMO from everybody reading Brimstone, which is the second book of the series. So I started Quicksilver, have been listening to it mostly, somewhat following along on my Kindle because it is on Kindle Unlimited, but I'm really enjoying the audiobook. So I am preferring listening to it. For the rest of my TBR, I'm going to pick 2 more physical books, 1 more Kindle book, and I'm going to just stick with the 1 audiobook because Quicksilver is really long, so I feel like it will likely take me the whole month to get through it. Just a disclaimer that even though I am setting up my TBR, I may not stick to it, I may not finish it. Just want to set realistic expectations so you are not disappointed. Time to pick my first prompt. I should have you guys see it before I see it. This one says, choose a book with you in the title. That is very specific. Let's see what I have. All right, I've got 4 books on my TBR cart that fit this prompt that have you in the title, so let me go through them. We have Loathe to Love You by Ali Hazelwood, which is a collection of STEM novellas. There's 3 different ones in here. We have Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. I think this is just like a contemporary romance type of book. Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. I actually just purchased this in December when I was in California to support a little indie bookshop, and this one is a romance. And finally we have You Again by Kate Goldbeck, which is also a romance that takes place in the fall. So this one is out because I want to read it during the fall time, and I meant to read it this past year and did not get around to it, but that one I'm going to rule out, as well as Funny You Should Ask, just because I feel like this one I want to read in like the summertime. I just think it fits that vibe looking at the cover. Okay, so I'll be honest, I love to read a book during the time of year that it takes place. If it takes place at a specific time of year, and I just Googled, this one apparently does take place in the fall. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Loathe to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. I actually think this might take place in the winter. Let me Google really quick. Takes place during the winter. Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Okay, it is time for a second prompt. This one is choose a book you have avoided. How great is that? I've gone through and picked some that I feel like I've had on my TBR for a while and have not really gravitated towards. So let me go through them and maybe tell you why I haven't reached for them. First, we have Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This does not have the best reviews, but I'll be honest, I bought the entire series when I was in the beginning of my rediscovering reading. I've been scared to read it because if it is not good and I'm not enjoying it, it's just not going to be a fun time. Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. I think this is going to be very sad. Therefore, I have avoided it. Like, I think it's just gonna be heartbreaking. That one has been on my TBR for a while. Same with If He Had Been With Me, but this one I think is going to read a little bit young. This one might as well. So they may be similar in that regard. Verity by Colleen Hoover. There is a lot of mixed feelings about her as an author and her books and writing. I have only read one other book by her, which is It Ends With Us, and I didn't really like it, so I have avoided reading this one. Silver Elite by Dani Francis. This caused a whole uproar on Book Talk last year because people think that it was written by AI. I'm not really sure what the facts are, but I know that people either loved it or hated it. So therefore, I have avoided it. I have decided on not choosing Silver Elite because this is dystopian, but I feel like dystopian is similar to fantasy, and I'm reading Quicksilver at the same time. That might be a lot for my brain to try to process. So I'm going to take that one out, and I'm also going to take out If He Had Been With Me because this one, it takes place in the fall according to my Google search. So again, I would like to read it around that time. I'm thinking to also take this one out because I am scared, okay? I think that it's going to be just so sad. And I don't know if I want that at the moment. That leaves Verity and Twisted Love. Now, if I had to choose between the two, I feel like I would want to choose Twisted Love because if it's bad, I would still be entertained and I could still laugh at it. However, this is the start of a series, and starting another series is not a great idea when I'm trying to finish the series I'm already in the middle of. So I think I'm going to go with Verity. It's also a thriller, so it will kind of switch up the genres a little bit. All right, I'm going to choose one more, and this one will be a book that I choose to read on my Kindle after I'm done with the current read I'm on. Choose a book that has been made into a movie or a TV show. Listen, this is crazy. I think I manifested this because I so want to read Heated Rivalry so I can watch the show. And now I can because it fits the prompt. So I will be reading that, and then I can fangirl with the rest of you all. Future Danielle here to tell you that since I filmed this video, I learned that Heated Rivalry is not the first book of the Game Changer series. Game Changer is the first book, and that is what I will actually be starting with because I want to go in order. So to recap my January TBR, I'm going to be finishing Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by B.E. Schwab, The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon Volume 1 by Beth Brower, Quicksilver by Kelly Hart, Loathe to Love You by Allie Hazelwood, and Verity by Colleen Hoover. Well, that was fun. Thank you for joining me, and let's do it again next month, shall we?